To get us centered in spirit, I've chosen a selection from the Tao, chapter 14. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Continuing endlessly, unnameable, this formless form, this imageless image, cannot be grasped by mind or might. Know the source, which is beyond all beginnings, and you will know everything here and now. You will know the eternal Tao. And so it is. And now, more special music with Nancy.
Good morning. Everybody hear me okay? Yes? All right. How did I get here? Well, specifically, Woody called and asked that I come here and say something. I came to Unity through the A Street pipeline, and it was a pipeline that sort of diverted onto a metaphysical railroad. I was damaged, lonely, didn't know it, joking. I was escaping from a way of living and thinking that was not working for me. So my friend Karen, who I'd known since we were in the 8th grade together, were seekers, and we sought all kinds of stuff. We looked at Edgar Cayce, channeling, tarot, palmistry, astrology, let's see, psychic development, visualization, meditation, you named it, we explored it. We delved into messages from Michael, and we looked into the Rig Veda. We were just all over the planet when it came to seeking a way of living that would work. So one day we were laying out on North Beach in the sun, and she said, "I found a place you need to go." I'm like, "All right, what did you find, Karen?" She said, "It's this church in DC, and they have 2 services, and they have this little minister that's something else, and they have good music, and the people there are just phenomenal. You need to go." So the next week when we were laying out on the beach at North Beach, said, "I really think you need to go to this A Street place." So she was nagging for a while, and finally I did a little recon mission and went to the early service at A Street because there's probably only 25 people there. And indeed, Amalia was wonderful. When she said, "You want to change your life, change the way you're thinking, because your thoughts determine what your life is going to be." And I thought, whoa, okay, I'm going to need to explore this. And Karen was right. People were wonderful. The music was great. But I was such a hot mess when I got to Unity. I was afraid of that scary Roy Berkowitz. He was one frightening man. I had no idea what to do with him. And I was like, and then I was in a play with him, and I sang in the choir, and oh my God, what was I going to do with this scary, scary, scary man? But I did keep coming to church, and I finally joined the choir, and I finally stopped crying every time we sang the peace song and had warm fuzzies. That was after I started staying around, because I would make sure that as soon as everybody was starting to get up and form that circle, I was out the door. Too much for me, too much for me. Well, where did I go from there? I guess I joined a mastermind group with a great thinker, Jane West and Pat Weeks, also Kathy Severns and Stephanie Daly. Again, I found my voice. I wasn't singing before there. I found true friends, some who were harsh and some, one time Michael told me, "Honey, you need to get into therapy just to bring yourself to ground zero emotionally." Oh, Lord, what am I doing in this place? And the more I got to know Roy, the more I understood that there's a difference between scary and honest and loving and compassionate and affectionate. And he taught me so many of those things. Jane taught me grace. She taught me how to be vulnerable and powerful. And Unity was a place that I was not judged. I was loved and learned how to love without anyone expecting anything from me. The only thing that was expected is that I show up. And to the best of my ability, I spoke the truth and saw the truth in myself. I saw that, as Amalia said, I am God expressing as Margaret. I could live the truth that I found in the Catholic Church, where Jesus said, I am the vine and you are the branches, for we all are interconnected. He also said, these things and more shall you do, indicating that I am an expression of God. You are an expression of God. And we are all allowed in this center, in this spiritual environment, to find God in the way that works for us, whether it's meditation or yoga or music or writing or painting or enjoying those things. Everyone is accepted. Everyone is allowed to seek their truth. And I love this place, and I love you, and I behold the Christ in each and every one of you. Thank you.
Let's go back to 1990. I had this intense breakup with a partner that left me pretty devastated. And for over a year, I would cry on the subway, at the gym, very depressed. Then a very good friend, Richard, some of you know him, took me to this place called Unity. Said, I think this will be helpful. And Margaret talked about this little lady who said such simple, clear things that made such sense when she wasn't being tangential. And I cried. Also at the same time, I started the new job at Whitman Walker Clinic as assistant director of HIV counseling and testing. It was a perfect time to find unity, because in that job, I was giving HIV positive results to many people and counseling many of them. And those were the days that many of the folks died within the year of getting a result. So back to unity. I got into theater, met Margaret. Margaret and I were married in a play and had a wrestling scene. And it brought up issues of, do I want to act? Do I want to be a playwright? Now, 4 years before, I led into my consciousness that I wanted to be a playwright. And I thought, Roy, read a book. And I did. What a great idea. And I read the book about playwriting and I thought, I can't do this. Not an uncommon response for me in my life, okay? As I said, I was dreaming of writing plays, but now I was at Unity, taking in, playing with the messages that I was hearing, becoming more aware of my thoughts, still crying when we sang Our Thoughts, Our Prayers, and realizing how I was separating myself from spirit. Now, at the same time, at my job, I was learning from my clients. I had a chance to be present with them as they were looking back on their lives. And as they were feeling regretful and pained at not having tried something, done something, said something. And I thought, do I need a diagnosis or a serious condition to do this? Because I knew if I died without having tried writing plays, it would be a great regret and it would weigh on my soul heavily. Oh, and also there was the theater in DC, Source. Some of you might remember it. And every summer they did a new play festival. And guess what? A week of that festival was 10-minute plays. So I changed my thoughts, readjusted my prayers. I reframed success. Instead of success being that I would write the perfect draft the first time, that I would win 3 Tony Awards, and that Meryl Streep would beg me to be in the play, success became doing it, writing it, giving it a try, because I needed to. My soul needed to, and I didn't need to understand the reason. I just knew it. And I also knew that my soul did not need me to make money or to become famous or to win awards. I had learned that was another part of me. We talk about that part in Unity a lot. That's the part that puts up barriers. That's the part that says, who are you to think that you can do this? So this risk-averse 44-year-old left his job. I decided I needed to leave my job. I wanted to do this seriously. And I wrote and I took classes in writing without fear. And the universe brought me a great director who was also an actor and a playwright, and who, by the way, was a good friend of mine. He was there all the time. And he brought these incredible actors to us, where I learned my craft. I attended the Artist's Way. We moved to the Methodist Church. We became a community on the Hill. Michael Patterson led that group. It was a book that helped spiritually develop your creative part. And there was an affirmation I still remember. If you have a need to write it or sing it or draw it, whatever, there's a corresponding need somewhere in the universe for somebody to see it, to read it, to hear it. So what happened? My first play, Aubergine Days, opened off Broadway the week of 9/11 in repertory with, get this, Moliere and Samuel Beckett. My second play, Nietzsche Ain't Here, a 23-minute one-act play. It was performed around the United States, published by a Canadian company. Every time you buy it, I get $1. It won awards. It opened a theater in Ohio. And then in 2013, it was made into an independent movie. It played the independent short film circuit. Both of the actors won awards in the San Francisco Short Film Festival. I wrote other plays. I wrote for 10 years. That felt enough. My dear community, I have ego, but I say this not from ego. I share this from a place of gratitude and amazement and wonder, pride that I trusted that part of me, an awareness of my partnership with something much greater than me that I listened to because of coming here. In 1996, Amalia Frank asked me to deliver the message. She was going to speak at another church. Actually, she was going to speed to another church to speak. It opened up something so important to me, to be able to look at my spiritual journey, look at my struggles, look at the successes, look at what I needed to work on, and to say them out loud. That's why I think these telling our stories is so important, to give other people a chance to say them out loud, to affirm them, and to look at you, which I'm doing now, and to say them and to feel them. I have spoken at many churches since then, and so I've been able to tell my story, been able to work on my issues. I learned meditation in 1992 from our Donna Stern, who's with us today. Donna, I still haven't told anyone my mantra. I don't remember it, but I haven't told anybody my mantra. Back at the girls' school at the National Cathedral, Jan started A Course in Miracles many years ago, at a time that was another time that was great struggle in my life. Course in Miracles was my rock for so many years, and I still go back to it. This place was a place I could bring a friend who was in crisis. And when this friend saw Amalia and felt what was here, it was inspiring to this person. I can chart my life, how it changed since Larry left me back in 1990. That incident opened up a depression of a lifetime, a depression that I needed to deal with. Thank you, Larry. Then, thanks to a close friend, to Richard, he led me to a place that challenged my way of being, my way of thinking. It led me to unity and to you. The depression lifted. I stayed, and my soul lifted. Because This was a place I met all these people who were reminders of what I believe, even though I didn't live there yet, and even though I'm not living there yet. And just saying these words to you remind me that I am more than I appear to be. And you know what? So are you, and so are you, and you. Oh, yeah, you are too. Thank you for what you've meant to me and what you've helped me live.
On January 1st, I retired. Or should I say, I began the retirement process, cutting back from my core work and shifting to focusing on finishing a book I've been writing and doing some teaching. It's a big shift psychologically. After 50 years of building a career, advancing in my profession, building my own business, developing a broad and deep network of colleagues, boom, it's time to let go. Even though I had planned this and thought about it for 2 years, including mentoring someone to take over my role, it feels unexpected, dramatic, even shocking, and I'm not prepared for it. As I've made my departure announcements to my colleagues and the organizations I've been working with, all of them for decades, I have vacillated between feeling unappreciated and dispensable, and undeservedly and exaggeratedly acknowledged. One day, I want to know why no one cares that this will be the last blog I write. I dejectedly note that only 1 or 2 of the many people I have worked with for the last 30 years have reached out to acknowledge my departure. The next day, I want to know why a national organization is presenting me with an award named after the founder of the organization. This happened in real time last Sunday evening on Zoom in front of 1,200 people, and I was totally shocked. I was speechless, stunned, unhinged. All I could think was, I don't deserve this. I don't understand this. How can this be? This is wrong. Meanwhile, my Twitter account was blowing up with kudos and congratulations and well-deserved comments. So many from people I don't know. A couple of days later, I had a phone call from a young colleague, someone I've known for over a decade. She was crying because she said she was so grateful for all I have done for her. She said I was her role model, and she missed working with me on a daily basis. She said she couldn't believe she actually knew me, that it was like knowing a rock star. Again, I was shocked. I made myself keep my mouth shut and listen and try to understand what she was saying. I struggled to take in all of these experiences and the emotions they evoked for me. What was this all about? After some days of consternation and conversation with our wise friend Roy, I came to realize this. When my ego was in the driver's seat, I was alternately feeling either underappreciated or undeserving of appreciation. Either way, it was not okay. My ego was aggressively protecting its turf, and thus its state of turmoil. The push-pull of, why don't you love me? And you shouldn't love me that much, is my ego's delight. And my ego is insatiable. Never can be satisfied. Never can it feel comfortable. Never can it experience peace. My ego is about war with my divine self. A Course in Miracles teaches us that ego speaks first and ego speaks loudest. The Course also tells us that the ego is at best suspicious and at worst vicious. But the good news is I am not my ego. Hallelujah. It was a breakthrough for me when I realized that what all those kudos were about was an acknowledgement of my message, a message that my divine self channeled, a message for which I was a conduit. The message from my divine self resonated with the divine selves of those who heard it. It connected with their higher selves and moved them closer to what President Lincoln called collectively our better angels. As I understand what feels like undeserving compliments to my ego is really an acknowledgement of our collective aspiration to be our higher selves, I'm beginning to settle down. I've reflected on the many people who have called forth my higher self, my better angels. I think about the people in our community, Amalia Frank, Pat Weeks, Cheryl Welsh Sherrier, Jan Smoot, Karen Gray, Nancy Reed, John Bell, Andy Carlson, Carol Frampton, my co-conspirators here, Roy and Margaret, the members of our Course in Miracles group, and so many others in our Unity family. And I think about the historical and inspirational leaders that are part of our heritage, people like Martin Luther King. I'm thinking that this is what draws us to others and makes us want to honor them. In their messages, we glimpse our higher selves. We know that our truth lives inside of us, and they have reminded us, sparked us to choose again, to choose our higher selves, our divine selves. Without Unity, I would not have been able to unpack these experiences. Unity has given me, you all, a community that reminds me of my higher self, a community that holds the high watch for me when I lose my way. I simply cannot imagine my life without Unity, and I am deeply grateful.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Margaret. What deep truth and inspiration you have given us today. Thank you so much. And now we come to the time in our service for meditation. So let us take a moment to get ready for meditation now. As we prepare, I invite you to take a comfortable position, relaxed and alert. I invite you to take a deep cleansing breath and release it. Jesus taught us when we pray to shut the door on the outer world and enter into the inner chamber, the upper room, the secret place of the Most High, where we know our oneness with divinity. Jesus taught us, seek first the consciousness of divine wholeness and its harmony, and all these things will be added to you. So we know and experience ourselves as spiritual beings abiding in divine wholeness. We live in harmony with nature's cycles and with divine grace. In the wholeness of divine oneness, our minds are illumined and our awareness is enlightened. We celebrate life as the unique, essential expressions of the divine we are created to be. The one presence lives freely, creatively, and joyfully as each of us. Spirit in us recognizes itself everywhere. We roam free in all creation, greeting the Christ everywhere. As we prepare to enter the silence now, we know that infinite beauty waits for us within and without. We flow into divinity. Divinity flows into us, a perfect oneness. And now we emerge from the silence. We remember the words of Jesus speaking as the Christ when he said, "I am the vine, you are the branches." We are branches of Christ in full and glorious expression. When it seems the divine source is providing for us, it is really providing for itself. It is harmoniously regulating our personal affairs and providing us with supportive circumstances and unplanned good fortune. As spiritual beings, we can clearly see and continuously experience divine wholeness. We are thankful for all of the blessings it provides. We give endless thanks and praise to divinity, which is our source and essence, our energy and substance, our eternal home and abode of peace. We are so grateful. We are so grateful. We are so grateful. And now for a closing prayer to bring our service for today to a close. I've chosen a Navajo prayer from that American Indian tradition. Young pine tree, beautiful. Turquoise, beautiful. Fool's gold, beautiful. Blue pollen, beautiful. This day your child I have become, I say. May it be beautiful before me. May it be beautiful behind me. May it be beautiful below me. May it be beautiful above me. May it be beautiful all around me. I am restored in beauty. I am restored in beauty. I am restored in beauty. And so it is. Amen.
We are so blessed here at Unity Center DC for extraordinary speakers, talented musicians who share with us each week their God gift, their message, their inspiration. And for us as recipients, I'd like you to take this moment and be grateful. If you want to express your gratitude by giving a gift to Unity Center DC, it's possible. We'll put up on the screen the options, but you can give online, you can mail a cash or a check to the address you'll see on the screen, so that we can continue this ministry, which has blessed us all. Thank you.